With Half-Life 3 and Deadlock deep in development at Valve, they have hired another dev team for help. Hopo Games, creators of Risk of Rain and Deadbolt, are now working directly with Valve on their games. This is something Valve loves to do, acquire new teams who are working on games they are interested in, from the Counter-Strike mod or even the original Portal idea when it was just at a career fair. Hopo Games has developed Risk of Rain, Deadbolt, Risk of Rain 2, and Risk of Rain Returns. Their most popular game right now, Risk of Rain 2, is a cooperative third-person rogue-like shooter where you control a survivor who is stranded on an alien planet. This all comes from an announcement from Hopo Games, who have said, "Today we have an exciting update. Duncan and Paul, who are both the co-founders, alongside many other talented members at Hopo Games, will now be working on game development directly at Valve Software. Continuing on, we're incredibly grateful to Valve for their partnerships in the last decade, and are excited to continue working on their awesome titles. However, this does mean that we are stopping production on our unannounced game, Snail. We're excited to be working side by side with the talented people at Valve. Valve hasn't really said anything or made any announcement about the topic. Going by Hopo's previous games like Risk of Rain 2 and just the overall gameplay, you can assume that they will be helping out with Deadlock, as both are third-person shooters. We just talked about how Valve is focused on their unreleased projects like Half-Life 3 and Deadlock, so if Valve is hiring a new team to help them out with their unreleased games, it will mean more hands to help them out. Which, regardless what game this new team actually goes to work on, whether it's Half-Life 3 or Deadlock, it will be helpful to the next Half-Life either way. In 2018, Valve did something very similar, but with the Campo Santo studio, who also had to put their unreleased game, In the Valley of Gods, on hold. It turned out Campo Santo was hired by Valve and helped work on Half-Life Alyx, that released 2 years after being hired in 2018. Here we are in 2024, and Valve has decided to pick up another new team, this time Hopo Games. So even though we can't know exactly for sure what projects at Valve Hopo will be working on, it gives Valve a bunch of new hands to help out. If this team works with the new third-person MOBA, well, now Valve can focus more on Half-Life 3, as well, with rumors that Half-Life 3 could have co-op elements, and Risk of Rain 2 being a co-op shooter. Could this be what they're working on and not Deadlock? Plus, with Risk of Rain being heavily involved with aliens, and you look at the general art style and environmental images of Risk of Rain 2 being an alien planet, were they actually hired for Half-Life 3 and Zen? We know Zen will play a big part in the next Half-Life with multiple Zen creatures leaked, so it looks like Hopo could really be helping Valve with either one of these unreleased games. We can obviously make assumptions, but we won't know until probably one of these games releases and we get a better look behind the scenes. All we know for sure is that they are now working with Valve. The timing of this news couldn't be better, coming right after my most recent video, going over how Valve is full focused into Half-Life 3 and Deadlock. Funny enough, some of you suggested Valve to go ahead and hire more devs. The fact Hopo is working with Valve shows that things for either game still have a while to go. Campo Santo was acquired by Valve 2 years before the release of Half-Life Alyx, and they recorded the voice lines 1 year before the release. Using that information and the fact we know HLX has voice lines recordings in the process, you can very easily assume Half-Life 3 is in the last 1 to 2 years, pushing that final stretch. I will say thank you Hopo for sacrificing your Snail game for Half-Life 3. Overall, this is fantastic news for all Valve fans. If you want a deeper dive into Valve's focus into Half-Life 3 and Deadlock, check out my latest video.